Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on plant physiology. In last video we already discussed about role of water in plants. Now in this video we will learn about mechanism of water absorption in plants. We should know water is absorbed in plants by two different ways, that is by active absorption and by passive absorption. In this video we will learn about active absorption of water, and in next video we will learn about passive absorption of water. So let us start with active absorption of water. So roots are the sole water absorbing organ and it maintains contact with soil water, because roots are inserted into the soil and they are closely in contact with the soil water, and they are known as sole water absorbing organ. So the mechanism of water absorption by roots, it is described by different approaches. So first approach we have to see, that is active absorption of water, and second approach, it is passive absorption of water. So here in this video we will learn about active absorption of water in detail. So see, what is active absorption of water? So this is the concept is very simple and definition is very simple. We know roots are very much involved in the process of absorption of water. Why it is known as active? Because when roots and root cells itself are involved in the process of water absorption and it is without any affair of shoot, then it is referred to as active absorption. So in this type of water absorption, only root and root cells are involved and they plays very important role, and they do not have any help from the shoot, and there is no any interference of shoot in this type of water absorption. So this particular water absorption, it is totally controlled by roots and root cells. So in this type of absorption, root cells plays very important and crucial role. So water diffusion takes place in the root hairs due to diffusion pressure gradient. So it is very important to understand. Water from the soil, it diffuses into the root hairs due to this diffusion pressure gradient. Water enters into the root cells due to more concentrated cell sap as compared to outside water. So it continues till the elasticity of stretched cell wall is sufficient to balance the osmotic pressure of the solute. So in this process, in this active absorption, what happens? We know the concentration of cell sap is higher than the concentration of outside water, that is soil water. So that due to this diffusion pressure gradient, the soil water, it enters into the root hairs and the cells of root hairs, and this entry of water, it continues till the elasticity of stretched cell wall is sufficient to balance the osmotic pressure of solute. Means this cell, it becomes stretched. Why? Because it is becoming turgid, and due to increased volume due to water, that cell will become stretched, and this cell, it will stretched, or the water, it will enters into the cell till the elasticity of stretched cell wall is sufficient to balance the osmotic pressure of solutes. Means in simple language we can say, if osmotic pressure of soil water and osmotic pressure of cell sap, it will become balanced, then water entry will be stopped. So this type of water absorption is known as active absorption of water. Active absorption of water, they are having two types, or active absorption of water, it may take place by two ways. The first way, that is osmotic absorption, and second way, it is nothing but the non-osmotic absorption. So here you can see osmotic absorption. Active absorption takes place by two ways, osmotic absorption and non-osmotic absorption. First of all, we will see osmotic absorption. There were two physiologists, namely Atkins in 1916 and Priestley in 1922. They proposed the osmotic theory of water absorption. So according to this theory, osmotic pressure of the cell sap of root hair is higher than that of soil water. So as we have discussed, the osmotic pressure of the cell sap, it is higher than that of soil water, because cell sap is more concentrated than the soil water, and this is due to higher concentration of solutes in the cell. Due to the higher DPD and osmotic pressure of the cell sap, soil water enters into the cells of root hair through semi-permeable plasma membrane by the endosmosis. So in this process, what happens in the osmotic absorption, what happens, you can see here. Due to the higher DPD and osmotic pressure of cell sap, so cell sap, it is highly concentrated, so that it has higher DPD and higher osmotic pressure, and due to that, the soil water, which is having less DPD as well as less osmotic pressure, it will enters into the cells of root hair through semi-permeable plasma membrane of the cell, and when outside water enters into the cell, the process is known as endo-osmosis. So we know very well what is the process of osmosis. In the osmosis, what happens, the water is transferred from the lower concentration of solute to the higher concentration of solute. So here in cell there is higher concentration of solute, and in soil water there is less concentration of solute, so that soil water, it will enters into the cell, and this process is known as endo-osmosis. Now this entry of water, it is due to difference of osmotic pressure, and hence it does not require any amount of metabolic energy. So this particular process, it takes place by the physiological phenomena, that is osmosis. So there is no any requirement of energy for such type of absorption. So osmotic absorption doesn't require any amount of energy for water absorption. Now once water enters into the cell of root hair, their osmotic pressure, suction pressure and DPD lowers down, but turgor pressure of the cell is increased. Now due to osmosis, we have seen that soil water entered into the root hair cells, and after completion of, or once water enters into the cells, the osmotic pressure and suction pressure of the cell, it gradually decreases and cell becomes turgid, and due to this turgidity of cell, the turgor pressure of that cell, it is increased. So after entry of water into the root hair cells, that cell has decreased osmotic pressure, suction pressure as well as DPD, but it increased its turgor pressure. Now what happens? Now there are some neighboring cells to the root hair cells, or they are known as adjacent cortical cells. So these are the neighboring cells to the root hair cells. Now these cells are having high osmotic pressure, high suction pressure and high DPD as compared to the root hair cells. So cortical cells, they draw water from the root hair cells by osmotic diffusion. So by the same way as water from soil entered into the root hair cells, here also water from the root hair cells enters into the cortical cell by the process of osmosis. So in this way, water by cell to cell osmotic diffusion reaches to the endodermis. So first of all, we have seen water, first of all it was present into the soil, now it is transferred into the root hair cells by the process of osmosis. From root hair cells, it will be passed on cortical cells, and from the cortical cells it reaches to the endodermal cells, that is endodermis. So this path or traveling of water, it is due to the osmotic diffusion. So this is known as osmosis process. So here you can see water from the root here, it first of all reaches, or it will travels into the first cortical cell, from first cortical cells to second to third, and ultimately it reaches to the endodermis of the cell. Now you can see here, this is entry of water. So we have seen that water entered up to the endodermis. So see here, this is our root here, you can see here, and it contains root hair cells. Now the concentration of this root hair cells, it is higher than that of concentration of soil water, or osmotic pressure, dpd, and suction pressure of these cells, that is root hair cells, it is higher than that of these water molecules which are present into the soil. So due to the process of osmosis, and due to the higher osmotic pressure of the root hair cells, water from soil, it enters into the root hair cells, and now this water from the root hair cells, it will enters into the cortical cells by the same phenomena. So phenomena is same here. So what happens, water from these root hair cells enters into the cortical cells, because once water enter into the root hair cells, osmotic pressure of these root hair cells, it get decreased, and osmotic pressure of adjacent cortical cells is higher, so that the water is drawn by cortical cells from the root hair cell. So these cortical cells become turgid. Now osmotic pressure of this cortical cell, it get decreased, and osmotic pressure of this cell, it is higher than that this cortical cell, so that this cortical cell draws water from the first cortical cell. In this way, water, it first of all drawn from soil by root hair cells, then by the cortical cells, by the second cortical cell, third cortical cell, and by the same phenomena of osmosis, water reaches up to the endodermal cells. So water from the soil, it reaches to the endodermis by the process of osmosis. So by the same mechanism, waters enter into the pericycle from the endodermis, and finally water is drawn into the xylem from the turgid pericycle cells. Now we have seen water is reached up to the endodermis. Now by the same phenomena, that is osmosis, water is drawn by the pericycle cells from the endodermis cells, and finally these pericycle cells become turgid, and again these cells pass on water to the xylem cells. So these are the all xylem cells, you can see here in the diagram. Once water into the xylem cells from the pericycle cell, a pressure get developed into the xylem of root, which raises the water to a certain height. So this pressure is referred to as a root pressure. So we can see here, once these xylem cells drawn water from the pericycle cell, they develop a pressure in the xylem column, and due to that water raises up to the certain height into the plant. So this is the mechanism of water absorption by the process of osmosis. So here in this diagram you can see clear cut path of water from soil to the xylem, and how water is transferred from soil to the upper part of the plant. So this is the phenomena of osmotic water absorption. Now we will see second type of active absorption of water, that is known as non-osmotic absorption. So here this theory of water absorption, it was proposed by the scientist physiologist namely Thyman in 1951 and Kramer in 1959. So according to this theory, active absorption of water may take place by non-osmotic way, means here no osmosis will take place but water get absorbed. So water is absorbed by non-osmotic way. This type of absorption may takes place against concentration gradient. So this is unlike your osmotic absorption, it takes place against concentration gradients. That is, if the concentration of solute in the cell sap is less than concentration of solute in the soil water. So it is totally against the osmotic absorption. So unlike osmotic absorption, non-osmotic absorption requires energy which is obtained from the respiration. So we have seen that, we have discussed that for the osmotic absorption of water there is no requirement of energy, but for the non-osmotic absorption of water it requires energy, and that energy is obtained from the respiration. So this approach is described by many evidences. Now we should know the evidence for that. So non-osmotic absorption, it requires energy. So this statement should have some evidences. So these evidences are shown here. If there are some factors we use which are causing or which are affecting respiration, then it will affect on the rate of absorption, because we know very well non-osmotic absorption requires energy, and that energy is obtained from the respiration, and when respiration is affected then absorption also affected. So this has some evidences you can see here. First evidence, wilting of root occurs in non-aerated soil such as flooded area. So flooded area, in flooded area you can see there are some plants which are present in flooded area. They remain embedded into water for many days and their roots do not get any oxygen for respiration, and in this case the plant is embedded into the water. Due to lack of respiration there will be no energy formation, and due to no energy formation there will be no absorption of water, and such plants get wilted. Means in this case though plant are embedded in water but they can't absorb water due to lack of respiration and lack of energy. So this is the first evidence to this type of absorption. Now second, use of respiratory inhibitors such as KCN reduces rate of water absorption and exudation from the cut end of the stem. So here this is KCN is a respiratory inhibitor. If such type of respiratory inhibitors are applied for experimental basis to any plant, they affect rate of respiration, or they are known as respiratory inhibitors. Due to application of KCN, rate of respiration decreases, and due to which when respiration decreases then water absorption also decreases, or exudation of water from cut end also get affected. So these are some evidences for non-osmotic absorption, or for the statement that non-osmotic absorption requires energy for water absorption. So in this video we discussed about active absorption of water. There are two types of active absorption: osmotic absorption of water and non-osmotic absorption of water. So this is all about this absorption of water. If you like video, like, comment, share, subscribe and press bell icon to get further notification. Thanks for your attention.